Everybody, my second video of the day, we are going to go look at one of the biggest pyramids, and this was really surprising to me. One of the biggest pyramids I've ever seen. We have heard of Cholula and the Great Pyramid, of course, and some of the other big ones. Well, this one ranks right up there. We are going down to Tonina, Mexico. I'm not sure how this place is pronounced. Now, here is a Mayan city, and originally they thought there was Mayan temples and smaller pyramids built on top of a hill, but work in recent years. This is one huge, big pyramid. Now we are about halfway up. There is about 7 terraces here, and this is the top of a massive, massive structure here. You get an idea how big this is. Then it falls off here. Originally they thought this was a hill, but there are perfect terraces, stairways. This really surprised me. Here you see the upper terrace, the stonework, the view, and then the big pyramid structure right here. Here's the view from the very top. I'll give you an idea how big this thing is. Going around this way. Here near the top of this side, and this must be the west side here, but that just comes down and it appears just to keep on going. It gets lost beneath the growth here. And these right here are called the palaces to the underworld. Here we are down in front, and you just get an idea how massive this thing is. Now here, down by the bottom, looking out here, something buried right under the ground there. But when I looked at this, I was just shocked. It was clear to me this was one huge, massive structure, and there is stonework all around here, and this does not appear to be a hill. This appears to be one of the biggest pyramids I've ever seen. Here's a view looking up from the southeast side. It looks like there's a perfect platform right in this area here, and then as we swing around, there's areas where you can go underground here. Here we are at the bottom of the structure, and there are entrances down here. And you can go down below the structure. I find that very interesting. Now here we are perfectly aligned to the north, so it doesn't appear to have any alignment as far as that is concerned, but it has that kind of odd alignment like Teotihuacan does. But if we back out here and go down here, there are a few things right under the ground. There's a feature above ground right here, a little structure, and then this right here, is this something modern? I'm not sure. Then over here, there appears to be a long mound, and some of the long mounds in the ancient U.S. sites, that's where they put their burials. Notice this right here, 3 small mounds, 1 small one, and then 2 bigger ones right here. Does that represent Orion? Maybe. Near that circle here is a large mound with some stonework on top of it. Near that circle, right over here. But this site just kind of struck me, kind of reminded me a little bit of Cholula or El Tigre at El Mirador. How much is buried beneath the canopy here? Here's a pyramid on the 5th terrace of this massive structure. Here's a statue of what they think is a ruler coming from here. I know this isn't the clearest pic, but here's a good look. Here's a stela coming from the 6th century of a Jaguar god at the site here. Here's what they say is a bound captive. Notice the rope around the arms there, but that thing right there, let's take a closer look at that. I'm not quite sure what this represents, but appears to be some sort of symbolism there. The sun disk sitting on top of something. Not sure what that is. This is Archeology.org, and it says excavations by archaeologists from Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History have shown the Maya city to be twice as large as predicted, with clearly defined districts including palaces, temples, housing, and administration. It had been thought that the Tonina Acropolis had been built on a hill, but the excavations have shown the mound covers a pyramid more than 240 feet tall, with 208 stone steps from its base to its apex. It's a big surprise to see that the pyramid was done almost entirely by architects, and therefore it is more artificial than natural. This is because it was believed that almost every hill was a natural mound, but recent evidence has revealed that it was almost entirely built by the ancient inhabitants. So from what we can look at and what we just read there, this is all one big structure, one of the largest pyramids in the world. Let's just measure here. Now the front base here on the south side appears to be, if it starts there, it probably ends right about in this area here by the ruins down there. So we'll call that about 230 meters. And that is exactly the base of the Great Pyramid. And going north-south, it's about 280, 275 meters long. That is a massive structure, is one of the biggest pyramids in the world. Here's a website I will leave below, but this place has a deep, deep past. A lot of glyphs on it. We'll read just a little bit of the history here. But one thing is clear, and this is stated on a lot of websites. This place has a lot of ruins beneath it that nobody's ever seen or gotten to. It says the ancient Mayan city of Tonina is set amidst the rugged jungle of the Ocosingo Valley in western Chiapas. Known historically as Po or Popo, Tonina became increasingly powerful in the late Classic period between 600 AD and 800 AD. Tonina tussled with powerful city-states of Calakmul and Palenque for much of its history, which suggests the city was a central player on the political landscape of the late Classic era. But 600 AD to 800 AD, that's when the city was thriving, and many websites say this is built on top of older ruins. It says the texts record the history of Tonina through the ascensions, birth, and deaths of its rulers and nobility. However, it's renowned for the discovery of dozens of carved monuments that feature bound captives and records the city's many conquests. It also is famed for having the last carved inscription that uses the Mayan long count, which is found on Monument 106 and records the date of the 15th of January, 909 AD. The size of this place and the fact that there is ancient carvings that kind of connect it to the Olmecs, you gotta wonder how old is this place, and has pretty good detail of the Mayan long count. It says the name of the city, Popo, means white in Mayan and suggests this structure would have been once encased in stone and finished with the gleaming white limestone plaster. And that's interesting. Remember, the Great Pyramid was covered in white stone at one time. Here is some more stone artwork at the site, and some of this appears to be pretty mysterious. There's an upside-down head here, but people relate this to the Maya period, but also many websites say there seems to be Olmec symbolism here and Olmec reliefs and a kind of a transition period. Or how old is this site really? People really wonder. As recently as 1992, a huge stucco panel was discovered on the fifth terrace that is known as the frieze of the Dream Lords. It rates among the largest and most complex Mayan stucco friezes ever discovered and underlies just how much there still is to be discovered here. I found this really interesting, how they kind of encoded maybe their calendar into these structures. Let's just read. It says, encoded into the pyramid's design are 13 temples, which equal the number of day numbers in the sacred calendar round. Add the temples to the 7 tiers the temples rest upon, and you have 20, equaling the number of day names in the calendar. The 13 day numbers and the 20 day names were cycled together to produce 260 unique day names for the sacred round, and there are 260 steps that climb the Acropolis from the public plaza at the bottom to the most holy sanctuary at the top. I certainly found that interesting. The numbers encoded into these structures here. Pretty much certainly now, we can call this one of the biggest pyramids in the world, and this has come to light in recent years. I have not seen any channel that I'm familiar with cover this site, so for sure, I needed to. And the important gods that are kind of depicted here and kind of a deeper history that's hinted at, I think this place is really important. There is El Tigre and Cholula and the Great Pyramid and the pyramids at Teotihuacan, but that one is one of the biggest in the world. That was really surprising. Never know what you're going to find around the world. Ancient history. Hope you thought that was cool, and you all have a very nice day.